Hello my lovelies! I know you all have been missing my review videos and asking me to rate recently finished BLs. So how can I dare disappoint you guys? So in today's video, let's rank 15 recently finished BL series from worst to best. Let me know if your top 3 choices match mine. I am extremely sorry, but I cannot be that BL fan who watches shows to support their favorite actors. I watch shows to experience a good story, good visuals and good acting, and I need all 3 of these elements to be present in order to enjoy the series. I don't care who the main leads are and what they have done before. If they don't impress me with their skills, I'm going to talk about it. Sunset Vibes was a massive disappointment. There is a reason why it is the worst summer BL of this year. Everything from the plot to the acting to chemistry to side couples were absolutely horrific, and I wonder if Star Hunter has changed management because they have been consistently producing terrible BLs year after year. To be honest, I have read the novel that the series is based on, and the novel itself was cringe and very badly written. So I half expected the series to be shite, but I thought they will enhance the script and make it better, but honestly they made it worse. The phrase "Kundad" makes me gag with secondhand embarrassment, and I will truly think twice before watching another Mossbank series. At number 14 is the Thai adaptation of Japanese BL My Love Mix-Up. I really wanted this BL to be good. I had so much hope for this one because I like Gemini and Fourth as a pair and they impressed me so much with their chemistry and acting in Moonlight Chicken. But that chemistry was nowhere to be found in My Love Mix-Up. I honestly didn't feel any connection between Gemini and Fourth's characters in this series, and because of that the story fell flat. In fact, I found the straight couple more interesting and charming than Gemini Fourth, which is absolutely not a good sign for any BL series. It felt like Gemini was reluctant to be touchy-feely with Fourth, and even though Fourth was trying, Gemini's reluctance made their chemistry and interactions look forced and awkward. I know they are both young actors, but their acting almost felt too old to play as high schoolers. Overall, this show was a massive disappointment, and now I feel scared for other Japanese BL adaptations, and I hope GMM TV doesn't adapt any more of them, to be honest. First of all, I don't think Min and Ping pairing works for me. Once again, Ping has proved that he doesn't understand the A of acting and just relies on being cute and making that one constipated expression all the time which the viewers are supposed to find hot and endearing. I'm sorry, but Ping is incompetent as an actor, and it's baffling that 2 hot guys were fighting over him in the show. My second issue is that the pacing and storyline of the show was not coherent at all. We spent the first 5 episodes being absolutely terrified of the gangster, but then Q wipes them all out in just 0.5 seconds. Make it make sense. Lin and her coach dad looked the same age, which is diabolical considering they play father and daughter. Adam and Ryu had more chemistry and sexual tension than Zen with both of them. There was too much basketball and less of an actual story. Overall, this was another huge disappointment, and I just hope that Meaning and Pin don't get any roles together anymore because they just suck ass, plain and simple. I'm so incredibly sad that I'm having to give bad review of the series that I was so excited to initially watch. The trainee disappointed me on so many levels. The main couple's story was half-baked, and it's unfair how little time they got in their own series. Honestly, I fail to understand why GMM TV is unable to give Off and Gun a good storyline and production. They keep suffering from badly written scripts and poorly produced shows in every single BL despite having so much potential in their acting and chemistry. I watched this series until the end in hopes that Off and Gun will receive more screen time, but they didn't, and their story seemed like an afterthought in the show, which is completely unfair considering they were the main couple in the show. That said, the only positive thing I can say about the show is Off's acting. He embodied the part of Jane so well and made me fall in love with his character. I enjoyed watching the first 4 to 5 episodes of Takara's Treasure. The premise was simple, the actors were doing a great job, and the story started off simple and endearing. But I completely lost patience in the second half. It felt like the story just wasn't moving forward. We'd only get 2 or 3 scenes per episode, and they dragged on so much that I started losing interest. Then I found out that the manga it's based on only has a couple of chapters and just 1 volume. So it makes sense why the 11 episodes felt so drawn out and lengthy. And don't even get me started on Taishin's character. He looked adorable at first, but as the show went on, his inability to follow basic conversations and those long pauses between speaking just got under my skin. I honestly felt like smacking him with a lampshade at some points. Overall, the series just became dull as it progressed. At number 10 is Ford and Pete's BLFANEDITS the series. To be honest, I get the vision. I understand what they were trying to do with the storyline, but the execution just wasn't there. I kind of lost interest after episode 8 because Ford and Pete's characters felt too similar to the ones they've played in Love in the Air. There wasn't that sense of novelty I was hoping for, and it started to feel repetitive. That being said, their chemistry is still solid. The NC scenes were actually really well done, natural, not awkward, which made the series at least worth a one-time watch for me. I get what the writer was trying to convey, but the characters just didn't develop in a way that kept me hooked. Cosmetic Play Lover sits at number 9 on my list. It started off well, but it quickly fizzled out and became boring. The original manga had a darker tone, and the relationship between the main characters began with coercion, so I can see why they changed the plot of the series. However, in watering down the premise to appeal to a wider audience, they ended up making the drama dull and lifeless. The raw emotional impact and intensity that made the manga special just disappeared, leaving behind something that felt bland and uninspired. Mamiya constantly compared himself to Sahashi, and it drove me crazy how he'd keep hurting Sahashi and creating issues between them. The repetitive nagging and arguments got irritating really fast. Plus, they started Sahashi's character off with such an intense bad boy vibe, but after 2 episodes they completely watered him down. It was like they lost sight of what made the characters interesting to begin with. I usually like all Japanese BLs, but this summer really disappointed me with back-to-back boring BLs coming from Japan. Standing at number 8 is Thai BL Knock Knock Boys, which I really liked until the first 10 episodes. In my opinion, the last 2 episodes started dragging with Peak and his wedding drama. When Peak's father so easily accepted his relationship with Tanwa in the end, I felt like all the build-up and heartbreak had been for nothing. But on the brighter side, the show was refreshing with 2 new couples who had amazing chemistry and acted really well. I loved the storyline and the friendships, and I laughed throughout most episodes. I honestly hope the 2 couples work together again because they're such unexpected pairings, but with the right script, they work so well. Knock Knock Boys isn't just your typical rom-com, it stands out because of its unique elements. The comedy is genuinely funny, not just light banter or slapstick, and it adds a layer of charm to the series. The script itself is slightly different from the usual formula. Overall, I highly recommend watching this one. Sukfilm is the Korean version of TMM TV because they keep churning out one BL after another like a soap factory. And honestly, I'm not complaining because they've mastered the art of creating emotionally charged shows with well-developed characters, all on a limited budget and with a small pool of actors. Seoul Blues is a perfect example of this. Well-produced and carefully thought-out show with actors who have some of the best chemistry and visuals I've seen in Korean BLs. Songjin, who plays Jonga, is hands down the prettiest, most omega-looking UK I've ever seen in a BL. I'm not even kidding when I say I could picture him playing the UK in practically every yaoi manhwa adaptation out there. And then there's Jong-ryu. He's like the textbook definition of a seme. His body proportions, his intense gaze, and the way he handles the uncut scenes just makes him the perfect fit for those roles. That being said, I do think it's time for Sukfilm to expand their storytelling beyond the ex coming back trope. It's starting to feel a bit overdone. Still, I thoroughly enjoyed Seoul Blues despite that and look forward to what they bring next. First of all, thank you Thai producers for making our Danme dreams come true. I legit thought that in this lifetime I will never get a chance to watch an uncensored Danme adaptation on screen, and so Meet You at the Blossom is like a dream come true. I love the fact that they kept the story relatively simple and could neatly wrap up the show in 12 episodes. Often in historical wuxia BLs, the plot is overly complicated, making the story hard to follow. The main leads had chemistry and were perfectly casted for their roles. I will say though that their acting was sometimes weak, but I still liked how they executed their roles. If someone wants to start watching Chinese wuxia shows, then this can be a good starting point because it's not overly complex and has some funny moments too. In my humble opinion, I Hear the Sunspot managed to do what Last Twilight couldn't. In other words, I Hear the Sunspot is what Last Twilight wanted to be. It offers a genuine representation of people with disabilities, showing how they deserve to be seen, heard, and understood. The acting in I Hear the Sunspot is some of the best I've seen in Japanese BLs. Both actors conveyed so much through their eyes and expressions, often saying more without words. I loved how the characters found purpose in each other, overcoming their insecurities and transforming into more confident, accepting individuals. I just wish there had been more kinship between them, and while the hug at the end was sweet, it felt a bit superficial. A proper kiss would have added that final touch. Still, from the beginning to the end, this series was absolutely beautiful. At number 4 is Thai BL 4 Minutes. To be honest, the series felt a bit chaotic and all over the place, but I really appreciate the acting from every single person involved. The cinematography and production value were also impressive. Despite the chaos, it was an entertaining show that kept us hooked from start to finish, and it even had us coming up with different theories along the way, which kept things exciting. Although Jess and Bible did a very good job, Bas and Fue stole the show for me with their angsty storyline, super hot chemistry, and brilliant character portrayal. I like that BOC attempted to do something different with this show and succeeded at giving us an all-around entertaining series. The second runner-up on my list is Dow and Off-Road Century of Love. It's a truly entertaining, action-packed Lacan-style show with amazing chemistry, stunning visuals, and sensational side characters. I loved everything about this show, and in my opinion, this is how you do a fantasy plot right. It wasn't overly complicated, and the fantasy elements were engaging and sometimes even funny. The side characters were fantastic, especially Ju and her deep love for her great-grandfather. Her willingness to do anything for him and V was heartwarming. I also loved Pon's character. Even though he was a villain in his past life, his good karma in his life made him a better person. Dao was absolutely amazing in the grandpa role. He looked young, but his speech and mannerisms were so convincingly grandpa-like, proving just how talented he is as an actor. The storyline kept me hooked until the very end, and the fact that I didn't know how the show would wrap up until the last 5 minutes was such a fantastic feeling as well. It kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time. Standing at the second position is Thai BL Love No Long Beans. It was so damn good, I have no words. I waited impatiently for each episode and they delivered every single time. The chemistry between Silab and Pawn needs an in-depth study because how is it so damn good? It blew my mind how good they were in delivering all kinds of emotions between them. From angst to jealousy to the NC scenes to them fighting and then making up, it was so freaking hot and sensational it made me sweat. Garfield and Benz also delivered equally good performances, if not better. It's very rare to come across a BL drama where both the couples are equally engaging and they delivered it with so much ease. I want to see Garfield and Benz in a series of their own, and I want Silab and Pawn to have 100 more series together because they vibe off of each other so well and are both excellent actors. There isn't an ounce of hesitation and awkwardness in them, and they deliver their roles with such genuineness and comfort that it blows my mind. Now, my number 1 favorite BL from all the recently finished BLs is none other than Korean short drama The Time of Fever. If you don't agree with me, please go and watch episode 4 again and then come back to me. How could I not put this drama at the top when it gave me so many butterflies in my stomach with every look, each encounter and all those kisses. It's just that good. It's been a while since I saw chemistry and visuals this good in a Korean BL. I think the last time I saw this type of chemistry was in To My Star and Blooming. Just so intense and so overwhelming that they had to part ways before they erupted like a volcano. I held my breath watching each episode because it was just so stimulating, gut-wrenching and heartwarming all at once. Wontae Min and Dovwoo are so alpha and omega coded that I can't stop imagining them in so many different tropes and scenarios. I suppose they had to end Time of Fever on that unfinished note to make their storyline in Unintentional Love Story make sense. I'm desperately waiting for a conclusion to their love story, and I hope we get a season 3 sometime in the future. Now you guys let me know your top 3 from the recently finished BL series, as it will be interesting knowing your choices too. Subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye lovelies.